with the opening recitation. Here, you listen first to the meaning of the words that we are going to chant. So I'm going to read in English the meaning. You can just listen. As you listen, you contemplate. Let those words kind of imagine and feel the meaning of those words kind of going into your heart, going into your system, going into every cell of your body. But don't chase the meaning, don't chase the words. Just with an open mind, listen to the meaning. And if you want to continue to meditate in this way, as I start chanting in Tibetan, it's fine. You don't need to start chanting in Tibetan, especially if the chant, you're still not sure how it is done. You just sit and let the meaning of these words kind of go into your system, go into your heart, kind of fill your system, fill your heart. And you should listen to these words. I've used the analogy of like you're on a tour bus, when you're on a tour bus, the tour guide is narrating, is telling you about what you're seeing as the bus is moving. If you get too fixated, you will lose most of what is being pointed out, and you will lose most of what the guide is telling you, the significance of what you're seeing. Because you will be like, oh, wait, I missed that. Oh, wait, I didn't see that. Oh, wait, I didn't hear that, But if you maintain just presence and in a very relaxed way, but you need to be present. Don't be so relaxed that you have, fallen asleep or gone into your own world, but relaxed, but also presence. Then whatever is pointed out to you, you can appreciate, you can enjoy. Whatever you miss, you are also not, fixated on. You're like, well, that's okay. I will enjoy, I will take in whatever, is being brought to my attention. And to whatever degree my attention right now is capable of absorbing, I will absorb and let it permeate my heart. Let it change the way I look at things. So you should just relate to the recitations in this way. So we will start. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious awakening. Thus, until I achieve awakening, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until awakening is reached. By the merit of generosity and other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all migratory beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. This ground, sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, 4 continents, sun, and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all migratory beings experience such a pure land. Dala Dhamma Jebe Dra Nobar Jebe Gek Tarba Dan Tamje Gembe Bardu Jobra Jeba Tam Jegi Su Jebe Manang Kadang Nyampe Senjen Tamje Deva Dan Den Dunya Dan Nerdu Lana Meba Yan Dhabar Zobe Janju Rinpoche Tobra Dala Dhawa Jebe Dra Nobar Jebe Ge Darbada Tamche Kimbe Bardu Jobra Jeba Tam Jegi Su Jebe Ma Nangpa Dang Nyampe Senchen Tamche Dewa Dan Den Dungyao Dang Re Nirdu Lana Me Baya Dabra Zobe Janju Rinpoche Tobra Dala Dhawa Jebe Dra Nobar Jebe Ge Tarba Dan Tamje Gembe Bardu Jobra Jeba Tam Jegi Se Jebe Manang Kadang Nyambe Senjen Tamje Dewa Dan Den Dunya Dan De Nirdu Lana Mebha Yan Dabra Zobe Janju Rinpoche Tombar Du Zama Gege Bardu Lunga Yisum Gewala Go Mashi Bardu Lunga Yisum Gewala Go Du Dering Ne Sunde Nima Santa Samgi Bardu Lunga Yisum Gewala Go Zongye Jodang Zogi Jonamla Chanju Bardu Dani Gyabzu Ji Dagi Jinzu Gibe Zunamgi Rola Penju Sangye Dubra Ju Zongye Jodang Zogi Jonamla Chanju Bardu Dani Gyabzu Ji Dagi Jinzu Gibe Zunamgi Rola Benje Sangye Dubra Ju Zongye Jodang Zogi Jonamla Chanchu Bardu Dhani Kyabsu Ji Dagi Jinsu Gibe Sonamgi Drola Penje Sangye Dubra Ju Manang Kadang Nyambe Senjen Tamje Dewa Dan Dewe Gundan Dambra Gyuji Dungyao Dang Dungyao Gi Gyudang Dewa Gyuji Dunga Mebe Dewa Dhammi Dewa Gyuji Nering Chadang Nidan Rawe Tangyong La Nebra Gyuji Manang Kadang Nyambe Senjen Tamje Dewa Dang Dewe Gindan Dembra Gyuji Dungyao Dang Dungyao Gi Gyudan Dewa Gyuji Dungyao Mebe Dewa Dhammi Dewa Gyuji Nering Chadang Nidan Rawe Tangyong La Nebra Gyuji Manang Kadang Nyambe Senjen Tamje Dewa Dang Dewe Gindan Dembra Gyuji Dungyao Dang Dungyao Gi Gyudang Dewa Gyuji Dungyao Mebe Dewa Dhammi Dewa Gyuji Nering Chadang Nidan Rawe Tangyong La Nebra Gyuji Sashi Puju Jishi Medo Tram Rira Lingshi Ninde Gimbadi Sanje Shingla Mite Buwa Ye Drogo Namda Shindu Chobar Guru Deva Dhagini Rana Mendala Prateja So. As His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when he is teaching to a public audience especially, he reminds us, he reminds everyone, because lots of people who listen to him not necessarily Buddhist. So he reminds us that love and compassion, these are universal. Nobody, has a special claim over love and compassion. Recently, in a dialogue that he had, question and answer, with the youth of Southeast Asia, there's 2 sessions for that. One of the things that he said, love and compassion, these are universal. And so he says, the oneness of humanity has to be primary. As somebody asked, in this world, in many ways, we have been way more connected to each other than ever. In many ways, being connected in such a way has brought positive things. But at least temporarily right now, it seems to have also brought up a lot of conflict. So His Holiness said, we, as human beings on this earth, need to prioritize humanity. The oneness of humanity has to be primary. Then he says, then the religions, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, or secular humanism, no religion, he says all those have to be secondary. He says that's private. That's private, that's personal. No need, he says, to let that which is private and personal be an obstacle to the oneness of humanity. So furthermore, in the Mahayana teachings, it is said that love and compassion is innate to each of us. In non-Mahayana Buddhist systems, love and compassion is also greatly emphasized to cultivate. So don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, it is a non-Mahayana system, then love and compassion is not important. No. In fact, in some ways, when we say when we don't say it is innate to each of us, natural to each of us, maybe sometimes there is a stronger sense, therefore I need to really cultivate love and compassion. Yeah, because sometimes if we say too much is innate, then we get lazy, oh yeah, naturally, I'm love and compassion, we can get carried away that way, it's a very romantic idea, oh, love and compassion is innate, it's innate. And then, then we act in very unloving and uncompassionate ways because we have so much trust, oh, love and compassion is innate, But nonetheless, for those of us who accept the Mahayana way of instructing and teaching and thinking about things, we say love and compassion are innate to our nature. That means on the deepest level, love and compassion is natural. So there are many attempts, many writings and commentaries and treatises written over the millennium in India, in Tibet, in China, trying to show by quoting scriptures, this and that, how love and compassion is innate, is natural within us. But I like, some of you know, I like the way my teacher one of my teachers, says, the way he puts it, he says, yes, there are many writings to show that and to logically argue that and to quote, Buddha Shakyamuni, or to quote this scripture, that scripture. He says, that's all very helpful. But then he says, in fact, we only need to look at our own experience and our own minds. And we can, if we know how to skillfully look, we can also arrive at this conviction. And perhaps arrive at this conviction that love and compassion is natural to us in a much more powerful way than reading books. And how? He says, look at this. Whenever we experience any moments, even if it is very fleeting, just 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or a minute or two, whenever our mind is occupied, whenever our mind is experiencing love, which is the wish for happiness and to know the causes of happiness, to know how to become happy and to be able to be happy, whenever we experience that, we feel very relaxed, very satisfied. We feel good when we have acted and experienced happiness. When we have experienced this kind of love being shown to us, when we recognize this kind of loving kindness that someone especially is like showing to us or radiating to us, we feel the warmth and we feel so good. When you know that you have been loved, when you recognize that you have been loved, it's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling because that's who you are. That's who we are. It feels natural. Likewise, when we have experienced compassion, somebody showing us kindness, immediately, our autonomic, parasympathetic, response sets in our body. We are at ease. That's the natural state. That's the natural state. What other evidence do we need? On the contrary, if someone directs anger at us and we recognize that, and we also become angry or agitated, right? Everything like tightens up, right? Now it's fight or flight, right? Become bulk up or become lean and run. None of which, feels natural. It just feels like, oh God, that was so draining. So there instantly we see, that love and compassion is natural to us. But we let distractions come in. We let obscurations build up and build up and build up and build up and build up. We let resentment build up. We let, an unwillingness to let go build up until we lose sight of that which is natural, of that which is innate. Then all kinds of suffering arise. All kinds of stress arise. All kinds of dissatisfaction arise. All kinds of unhappiness arise. Now, none of what I am saying is a substitute to you in the world where things need to be done. I'm not advocating this as an alternative to doing things in the world. But whatever you're going to do in the world, whatever good that you're going to do in the world, you need this understanding to safeguard your heart so that you don't let the doings, no matter how noble, how necessary what you're doing in the world is, if you don't safeguard your heart, then even the well-intentioned good things that you're doing in the world can become adding to the layers and layers and obscuration that is going to obscure your true innate nature. So when we do a meditation like the one that we are doing for these 6 classes, this compassion meditation, this is a method taught by the Buddha in the Vajrayana context on how to safeguard the heart, how to train the heart, so that we will always, whatever we do in the world, when we get up from the meditation cushion, whatever we do in the world to make it a better place for you, a better place for me, a better place for everyone, whatever you do in the world can be protected from obscurations, distractions, distortions, which easily arise not because there is Satan in our system. We don't think like that. Not because there's Satan out to get us, fighting with God, We say, no, it's not like that, But it's because we are confused, We don't see clearly. So we always get misled. Misled by our own projections. Yeah. So anyway, now the main practice, which is called the visualization and recitation of the Great Compassionate One. So 2 aspects to this. One is the visualization. Like you use the power of your imagination and you imagine, you visualize yourself as the Lord of compassion, as the Great Compassionate One, and the one that completely embodies love and compassion. And here, Avalokiteshvara, in his 4-armed form. So that's the visualization part. The recitation part is to recite, whether verbally or mentally, the mantra, the wish-fulfilling mantra, the Mani mantra, the 6-syllable mantra of Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme literally means the jewel in the lotus. What is the lotus? The lotus is the flower that grows in mud amidst muddy ponds, but flowers beautifully above the mud. Rooted in mud. Part of the mud, but not tainted by the mud. That's how lotus flowers are. So they are a symbol of being in the world, but not of the world, to quote Jesus. being in the world, but not of the world. The jewel that is in this lotus is our bodhicitta. Or you could also say our Buddha nature, our divine nature. So here then the lotus, you can say, is a metaphor for our body. So we need to understand the pristine, the pure nature of this body. And the pristine and pure nature of this body is symbolized by the lotus. And the pristine and pure nature of the mind, of the heart essence, is symbolized by the wish-fulfilling jewel that is inside this lotus. So Om Mani Padme Hum. On one level, the meaning is, may this lotus, blossom. And when this lotus blossoms, right, then this wish-fulfilling jewel can be perceived clearly. And this wish-fulfilling jewel can fulfill all our deepest wishes. What underlies all our wishes, even from the most noble wish to the most kind of reprehensible wish, even the most reprehensible wish, let's say you say, I want everyone to die, oh gosh, but what is that really about? When you say that, you want to be happy, but you mistakenly perceive that other people existing is the cause of your misery. So you mistakenly perceive that. You mistakenly have that idea. So then you foolishly, childishly say, I want everyone to die. But even that, is your wish is to be happy. So when you have love and compassion, when you recover this innate love and compassion, how can it not be the wish-fulfilling jewel? It's literally the wish-fulfilling jewel. So when we recite Om Mani Padme Hum, it is to let this love and compassion, our innate nature, to reveal itself when this lotus opens. So we have to relax body, we have to relax mind, and trust in this innate natural nature to radiate and to become a wish-fulfilling jewel for ourselves and for others. So that's the recitation. So as I said, in this practice, there are, of course, different traditional parts, and we can go through them at a later point. Now, to add to what I've already mentioned on Tuesday, these videos are available on Facebook, on the Urban Dharma North Carolina Facebook page. Whatever we live stream, it remains there. There's also a YouTube channel called Drikung, D-R-I-K-U-N-G, Drikung Dharma Kirti Circle YouTube channel. If you go look there, look for the playlist that says Avalokiteshvara. Look for the playlist on this channel for Avalokiteshvara, and we plan to post all 6 of these there. And so each session, it's incremental in the sense that I provide more information. If you want to kind of get all the details that are present in this meditation text. But I don't want to emphasize that too much, because sometimes we get carried away by the details. First of all, we need to get the spirit of this practice, right? The underlying kind of taste of it. Then when we have the spirit, in other words, when our motivation, our understanding begin to take form, begin to stabilize, then the details, you don't need to hear much about it. You just hear a little bit, then it comes alive, in my experience. So the one detail I want to add today is, so in this practice, in this meditation, the visualization part, the using your imagination part, involves visualizing, imagining 7 more or less identical forms of the 4-arm Avalokiteshvara. 7 of them. First of all, you are all 7 of them. One in the center, one seated in the center, called the principle. So out of the principle, the other 6 manifest. So the other 6 that manifest is manifesting from the center. And the 6 that manifest, if you want these type of details, they are seated facing the principal one. That means facing inwards. Starting with the first one is right in front. The Avalokiteshvara that appears in the God realms, seated in front. The one that appears in the demigod realm, seated at 2 o'clock. Human realm, 4 o'clock. Animal realm, 6 o'clock. Realm of Preta or hungry ghosts is over at 8 o'clock, and hell realms is at 10 o'clock. So all 7. Why 6? Because in traditional Buddhist cosmology, these are the 6 possible realms of existence in confused existence. Why each realm there's an Avalokiteshvara? Love and compassion. 2 points. 1, no matter how much suffering, how much confusion, how much obscuration, love and compassion is still present. So it's present in all 6 realms. Then, that it is present is not enough. We also need to uncover. We also need to realize. And so we need to train actively in love and compassion in all circumstances, no matter we find ourselves in the hell realms or we find ourselves in the heavenly realms, meaning no matter whether we're experiencing tremendous oppressive suffering or experiencing tremendous ecstasy, love and compassion needs to become our focus. So 6 Avalokiteshvaras surrounding the central one. And then each of them have a slightly different thing that they hold in one of their hands. The other 3 hands, same. And then each of them have a different color given. You can work on that slowly. Hear more, get the spirit, get a taste of this. Yeah. Then I will give one detail, add one detail when we come to the recitation. So each time we meet, I will introduce one further detail for the practice so as not to overwhelm us. My experience is like in Vajrayana things. Oh, sometimes, the Lama explains everything in one seating and then unintentionally give people the impression somehow this is all accomplished, at one go. Then some of us get inspired and think, oh yes, I'm going to do that. Then when you sit down and try to do that, you're like, oh my God, I'm a mess. Then you say, oh, this is not for me. No, it's too soon to say this is not for you. It's just you misunderstood, how this actually happens. You misunderstood, I think part of it is because, lamas that travel, no time, but now, hallelujah, there is the pandemic. Don't get me wrong. There's of course a lot of suffering. I'm not laughing about that, but there's always the other side of things, right? It's like, oh, thank goodness, we now have a little bit less distractions. My favorite cafe is closed. So I contentedly, come hang out with you guys. Otherwise, I'm watching the river flow by, sipping my coffee. Then it's easy. Oh, compassion, love. When things are going so well, But when things are not going well, I'm not sure where love and compassion is, When things are not going so well, then it's like, give me love, give me compassion. Why am I not loved? Why is nobody showing me compassion? So this is not how we practice, love and compassion. So page 1, yeah. Let us read this together, taking refuge and generating bodhicitta 3 times. Then the next page, just 1 time. To you, 3 jewels and 3 roots, all you sources of refuge, I go for refuge. To establish all migratory beings as Buddhists, I give rise to supreme bodhicitta. To you, 3 jewels and 3 roots, all you sources of refuge, I go for refuge. To establish all migratory beings as Buddhists, I give rise to supreme bodhicitta. To you, 3 jewels and 3 roots, all you sources of refuge, I go for refuge. To establish all migratory beings as Buddhists, I give rise to supreme bodhicitta. To the 3 jewels, I go for refuge. I confess each misdeed and non-virtue, and rejoice in the virtue of migratory beings. I will also be mindful of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until awakening is reached. To fully accomplish the benefit of both self and other, I generate the awakening mind. Having generated supreme awakened mind, I will serve all sentient beings and delightfully engage in the supreme deeds of the Bodhisattvas. For the benefit of migratory beings, may I accomplish Buddhahood. For auspiciousness, I'm going to chant in Tibetan right now. You just listen. Namo Gunju Zundan Sawa Zun Gyamne Namla Gyabzu Ji Dugun Sanje Lako Jire Chanchu Jojo Zemkye Du Gunju Sumla Dakyam Ji Dikpa Mige Sosorsha Rowe Gela Je Rang Sangye Chanchu Yiki Sun Sangye Jodan Sojola Chanchu Bardu Dakyab Ji Rajen Doni Rabdu Ji Chanchu Semni Kebaragi Chanchu Jogi Semni Kegine Senjen Tamje Dagi Drundunye Chanchu Chojong Ibon Jebaragi Rola Pencher Sangye Drupar Sho. Next, you can read along or you can listen. Here is what's describing the appearance of these 7 Avalokiteshvaras and their individual characteristics. On Tuesday, I say, if it is still very hard to visualize all the details of Avalokiteshvara, or even a general image of Avalokiteshvara, then you can visualize or imagine yourself as a big orb of pure, cooling, and bright light. Cooling light of compassion, brilliant light of wisdom. So maybe 7 orbs. You can start like that. I am the great compassionate one, white in color with one face and four arms, with palms together and holding mala and lotus, legs crossed, adorned with jewels and silks, seated on a lotus and moon seat. Om Mani Padme Hum. Then visualize white-colored Lord of the world of the God realm with one face and four arms, palms together, holding a veena and a lotus, seated cross-legged on the moon. Om, Om Swaha. And so this is the one that is seated right in front of the central Avalokiteshvara. Now moving on to 2 o'clock. Visualize green-colored Lord of the world of the demigod realm with one face and four arms, palms together, holding sword and armor and a lotus, seated cross-legged on the moon. Om Ma Swaha. Visualize multicolored Lord of the world of the human realm with one face, four arms, palms together, holding a mala and a lotus, seated cross-legged on the moon. Om Ni Swaha. And now in the 8 o'clock position, visualize smoke-colored Lord of the world of the animal realm with one face. This is, at the 6 o'clock point, with one face, four arms, palms together, holding a scripture and a lotus, seated cross-legged on the moon. Om Pet Swaha. In the 8 o'clock position, visualize red-colored Lord of the world of the Preta realm with one face, four arms, palms together, holding a chest box and a lotus, seated cross-legged on the moon. Om Me Swaha. Finally, at the 10 o'clock position, visualize black-colored Lord of the world of the Hell realm with one face, four arms, palms together, holding fire and water and a lotus, seated cross-legged on the moon. Om Hung Swaha. Now just try to keep this visualization and keep it clear, vivid, as much as you can. Don't force it. And then just listen as I recite the Tibetan. Rani tuje chimpuni karbo xiaochi jiaxi pa teoja trengwa pema zin kyuchu rana darki gen pema dawe dinla shu mane penme hong la ye jikde wangju kar xiaochi jiaxi teowa jaruda biwam pema dawe den kyumu chungi suk sapar sam Swaha. Lamin Jigden Wanju Jan Shaoji Jiaxi Teo Jardan Gozun Pema Dawe Thank you Mo Chungi Super Sam Ma Swaha Mi Jigden Wanju Tra Shaoji Jiaxi Teo Jardan Chengma Pema Dawe Thank Kyumo Chungi Zupara Sam Ni Swaha Tundro Jigden Wanju Du Shaoji Jiaxi Teoda Jaradang Bodhi Pema Dawe Deng Kyumo Chungi Zupara Sam Pad Swaha Ida Jigden Wanju Mar Shaoji Jiaxi Teoda Jaradang Rambu Pema Dawe Deng Kyumo Chungi Zupara Sam Me Swaha Nyawe Jigden Wanju Na Shaji Chashi Tajarada Meju Pema Changna Zin Kyumo Chungi Zupara Sam Hong Swaha. Thus, in the heart center of the principal deity among the seven great compassionate ones is a three syllable on a moon seat, surrounded by the other six syllables. In the heart center of the surrounding six deities are their respective seed syllables, such as Om and so forth, also surrounded by the six syllables. So in the center of the hearts of each of the Avalokiteshvara, there is the Mani mantra circling in the heart. And then at the center of each of them, there is a separate seed syllable. But right now, don't worry too much about that. If you can just maintain the principle visualization, the Avalokiteshvara seated in the center, and then have just a sense that Avalokiteshvara, the Lord of love and compassion, appears in all places, is available, is accessible in all places and situations. This love and compassion is all pervading. There is no place where this is not available. All we have to do is to see that it is within the lotus. As I recite the mantra, so this is one detail I want to add. You can follow along or first listen to the melody. So get used to the melody. As you're listening to the melody, I suggest that this is what you do. Regulate your breath with the mantra. So when you hear the mantra the first time, inhale. And then you hear the mantra repeated the second time, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. When you inhale, you think all the blessings of the awakened ones you are taking into yourself. As you exhale, you think from within yourself, this love and compassion goes out in all directions. Those of you who are familiar with Tonglen will recognize that it is similar, but here slightly different is you breathe in the blessings of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It uncovers the lotus, it uncovers the wish-fulfilling jewel, the mani that is within you, and then love and compassion radiates outwards. But keep it with your breath. Breathe in as you hear the first recitation. Breathe out as you hear the second recitation. Then for now, maybe just meditate like this, and I will chant the mantra according to a traditional melody. I've told you on Tuesday, there are 4 separate melodies distinctive to one monastery in Tibet. It's the Drigungtil monastery. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 pe me hum. Om mani 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 pe me hum. So now you can mentally recite this again by coordinating it with your breath. And so slowly recite the first time. As you're hearing the first time in your mind, breathe in. And with the second recitation, breathe out. So then in this way, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. We breathe in and out 25,000 times, more or less, each day. Breath is the basis of life. And so if we can purify the breath that we breathe in and bless the breath that we breathe out, how wonderful, how amazing, how beneficial. So now let love and compassion purify the breath, the very basis of your life, of your existence. As it comes into you, let love and compassion purify it. As it leaves you, bless it with love and compassion, so that your outgoing breath, whoever it touches, whoever it contacts, your love and compassion touch them. With your love and compassion touching them, you wish that may their lotus blossom as well, so that their wish-fulfilling jewel can shine bright, bright with wisdom, cooling with love and compassion. Sometimes the seed syllable Hri is added to the sixth syllable when we chant it. So again, you continue to visualize and to regulate your breath, purify your breath, bless your breath. And I will chant this time adding the Shri syllable at the end. Om Mani Padme Hum Hri 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 Now, on page 9, together we'll say the praise, praising the Pure Land of the Lord of Compassion, the Great Compassionate One, praising the body, speech, and mind of the Awakened One, of the Great Compassionate One, Avalokiteshvara. Again, here there's a lot of profound meanings, but there's no rush to try to, get it all, learn it all, understand it all. Better to let the meaning, slowly kind of arise within our own experience. Shri, in the realm of the Great Compassionate One, where good and bad are non-dual, appearances are without true existence, existing only in the manner of illusions. Within a state that is naturally pristine and without fixations, is the boundless and pristine realm where attachment and aversion is self-liberated. In your realm, Great Compassionate One, I praise and pay homage. Ah Hung Hri Mani Padme Hum. Free the indivisibility of appearance and emptiness, the exalted body of the great compassionate one. This empty nature of appearances is like the reflections of the moon on water. Within this great ocean of the empty nature of appearances is the boundless and pristine exalted body of self-liberated empty appearances. To your exalted body, great compassionate one, I praise and pay homage. Ah Hong Hri Mani Padme Hum. Hri, the indivisibility of sound and emptiness, the exalted voice of the great compassionate one. This empty nature of the sounds is like the sound of echoes. Within this great ocean of the empty nature of sounds is the boundless and pristine exalted voice of self-liberated empty sounds. To your exalted voice, great compassionate one, I praise and pay homage. Ah Hong Hri Mani Padme Hum. Free the indivisibility of clarity and emptiness, the exalted mind of the great compassionate one. This empty nature of clarity is like the color of rainbows. Within this great ocean of the empty nature of clarity is the boundless and pristine exalted mind of self-liberated empty clarity. To your exalted mind, great compassionate one, I praise and pay homage. Ah Hong Hri Mani Padme Hum. Free the molten lava ground is the realm of the great compassionate one. The bull-headed Ava is the exalted form of the great compassionate one. Kill, kill, strike, strike are the sounds of the 6 syllables. Arrows, spears, and swords are the various offering materials. In the boundless and pristine expanse where happiness and suffering are self-liberated, to you, the great compassionate one of existence and appearances, I pay praise and pay homage. Ah Hong Hri Mani Padme Hum. Just listen again for establishing auspicious connections, interdependence. I will chant this praise now in Tibetan. Shri Zangye Nime Tuje Jimpo Jim Mejin Nangwa Gyuma Dabu Zu Rangjing Daba Zin Zin Bebe Ngang Chadang Rang Do Daba Rajang Shin Tuje Jimpo Shing La Jia Se Do Ah Hong Hri Mane Padme Hum. Shri Nang Tong Ni Me Tu Je Jin Bu Gu Tong Xing Nang Wa Chu Da Da Bu Zu Nang Xing Dong Pa Gya Su Chin Po Nga Nang Tong Rang Do Dak Pa Rak Jam Gu Tu Je Jin Bu Gu La Cha Se Do Ah Hong Hri Mane Padme Hum Hri Da Tong Jo Me Tu Je Jin Bu Sung Tong Shin Drak Ba Drak Cha Ta Bu Zu Drak Sin Shin Dong Pa Jo Du Me Be Ngang Dra Tong Rang Ro Dak Pa Rab Jam Sung Tu Je Chen Pui Sung La Cha Se Do Ah Hong Hri Hane Pe Me Hong Shri Seo Tong Yin Sin Me Tu Je Chen Pu Du 同心社哇家尊大不足，社心东巴南卡塔布昂，社通让多达巴拉占图，图杰前辈图卡扎社多。啊吽嘿阿尼贝咩吽。Shri Jagsik Sashi Tuje Chimpo Shing Awa Lango Tuje Chimpo Gu Soso Gyob Gyob Yige Drupe Da Dadung Re Na So Chobe Se De Du Rang Do Da Pa Rab Jam Lo Nangsi Tuje Chimpo La Cha Se Do Ah Hong Re Mane Be Me Hum. Now let all 7 Avalokiteshvaras dissolve and relax. No need to hold on to the visualization anymore, because you know and you trust that with or without visualizing, this love and compassion is present and available. We just need to polish away, purify the afflictive emotions, the negative karma. And lo and behold, when the lotus blooms, the mani, the wish-fulfilling jewel, is present right there. So let everything dissolve without the need to hold on or to chase after. Leave everything as it is. Page 14, I dedicate this merit to all my old mother sentient beings of the six realms. By this merit may I achieve the all-knowing state. May all who wander on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating enemies of faults and delusions. Through this accumulation of precious merit dedicated to all migratory beings, may they never be separated from the sublime Dharma. By myself and others perfectly realizing the two benefits, may the melodious beat of the Dharma drum beautify this world. May the spread of the Buddha's doctrine ever increase. May all sentient beings be blissful and happy. May they practice the Dharma through the day and night. May the two benefits of self and others be spontaneously accomplished. In all lifetimes, may I never be separated from the perfect gurus, but enjoy the richness of the glorious Dharma. Having thoroughly perfected the exalted qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Gewa magen dodu kun lang zonam de tamje zingbani tomne nebe dhanam pamje de gega naji balong chupai sibe sole drowa drowa sho rinchen gezo di drowa gun taktu dampe chodam midrel shin ranchen doni zopa tarjin Chunga drobe jikden ze bar sho sanje den bar da shin ke bar sho semchen tamje de shin ke bar sho nindan zendu chola chula chobar sho ranshen doni lungi drubar sho kewa kundu yanda lama da treme choki la bela lonju ne sadan lamgi yonten rabzo ne 도제 장기 공방 뉴토 쇼. Very briefly, this expression here on page 9, in the realm of the great compassionate one, where good and bad are non-dual. Yeah? Good and bad here is not talking about, say, in the karmic context, skillful or unskillful actions, or more commonly, good and bad actions. Yeah. We have to pay close attention, to skillful and unskillful actions, because cause and effect is going to bear fruit. Here, when it says good and bad are non-dual, it's saying in the realm, right? In the realm of existence of the great compassionate one, there is no preferences. There's no labeling. This I like, this I don't like. This I enjoy, this I don't enjoy. This I want more, this I want less. Those types of preferences. So when something unpleasant turns up, we get bent all out of shape. Oh, I don't want this. I hate this. Who brought this here? Who gave me this? Who is to blame? Or when good things happen, oh, this is so good. This is so good. I've done well. This is my, hard work and this and that. And then pride increase, as attachment increase. So it's saying, you know, in the realm of the great compassionate one, this doesn't exist. Of course, it's also saying we should achieve this realm of existence. And then after that, the praise of the body, speech, and mind. And then another thing right now I want to say quickly, because the words are so strong, you know, some of you must be wondering, what does this mean here? Kill, kill, strike, strike are the sounds of the 6 syllables. Yeah. It's not saying, you know, you should go about kill, kill, strike, strike. It is saying, this is a description of the hell realm. In the hell realm, it said the ground is molten lava. So anywhere you step, it will burn you. Bullheaded Awa, not directly connected to Avalokiteshvara, but it's a play of the sound as well. Bullheaded Awa is referring to the guards of the hell realms. It's said that they have bull head, horse face, and they are there to like poke you and torture you, you know. Then you will hear, it says, when you're born into hell realms, you will have tremendous fear followed by tremendous anger, and continuously fear and anger will drive your existence. The more you are frightful, afraid, the more you become angry. The more angry you become, the more frightful it is. Because everywhere you see is all lava. And then there's this bull-headed, horse-faced, you know, torturers turning up again and again. And then you will hear them saying, kill, kill, strike, strike, you know. So basically here it's saying, you know, when you are able to transform your whole being and your whole realm of existence and your body, speech, and mind into that of the great compassionate one, then all of this is transformed. Even the molten lava ground, now you experience it as the pure realm of Avalokiteshvara. Even the hell torturers, if they turn up, you are going to experience them as the great compassionate one. Even when you hear them, you know, saying kill, kill, strike, strike, you will only experience it as Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. This is what it means. It doesn't mean the other way around. Kill, kill, strike, strike. So you go around, you know, and then you tell people that is Avalokiteshvara. Deal with it. No, it doesn't mean that. So we have passed, you know, our scheduled time, but I still want to give a quick opportunity. If you have any questions or comments regarding our session today, you can type it on chat, Zoom chat, and Fabiola will probably catch it and read it for us. Or you can just ask. Or on Facebook, you can type in comments and I will keep an eye. So just a few minutes before we end. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
My question is, the breath with Om Mani Padme Hum, that is so beautiful. To me, that is the answer to all the questions. I mean, if I just did that every second of the day, I would be, you know, almost walking on water, man. You know what I mean? I mean, it's beautiful.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Absolutely. I mean, my gosh, it's so beautiful. My question is, you know, since, I mean, I'm going to be living my life and going on and on. So should I just breathe through my nose in and out, or should I worry about it going down to my heart, or, you know, how exactly should I just do that? Breath in, breathe in, breathe out.
I think start off with just breathing in, breathing out, you know.
Okay.
As you gain more kind of experience with it, as it becomes more and more easy and natural, you can add details, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
That's my style, you know. I advocate first get an overall taste of what this is, you know. Then as confidence grow, as you become more and more natural to you, then, you know, the icing can come, you know. Oh, and oh my God, you know, Tibetan Buddhism has so much icing.
I know. Yeah. Thank you.
And that's part of the reason why some of us are more attracted to it, you know, than other forms. You know, it's okay. You know, we all have very different, you know, kind of dispositions, you know. So, oh my God, there are lots of icing, you know, for this Terma of breathing. Fancy designs can come later. But overall, the body has to be there first. Like they say, you know, if you don't like take care of the body first, then all the ornamentation that you obsessively collect, useless. Yeah, you're just going, if you don't take care of the body first. So the body here is the breath going in, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Breathe in, purify breath. Breathe out, bless all beings.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We more or less breathe 25,000 times each day. About 30 pounds, I think they say, of air, of oxygen that we take in. So if we can purify that, oh, much better health too, much better state of mind.
Jose Miguel?
Yes.
Jose Miguel have a question.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted about the origin of this sadhana in particular, because I know there's different types of sadhana about specific deities. I just wanted to know about the origin of this particular
this one,
sadhana.
Sure. This one, so in the cover, if you look at the cover, it says, you know, it's from the Terma cycle of 13 Mingyö Dorje. So it's the Namchö, the sky treasure Terma system. One of the great Tertons recovered this.
Okay.
Namchö.
Perfect.
And I think somebody asked in the chat.
Yeah, there's a question here. My natural breath is breathe in with Om Mani and breathe out with Padme Hum. Is that okay to use that pace?
Oh yeah, if you want to do that, you know. Just to add, if you have the whole 6 syllable, you know, it will slow down your breath. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Then if you have a tiger chasing you, then Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If you don't have a tiger chasing you, maybe, you know, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, you know.
I just want to add, there's many messages here. Thank you. This was an incredible experience of breath, beautiful breath practice, and many messages like that.
Okay. Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah, so, you know, we can practice this in a way that is such a blessing, you know. Don't get caught up in the details. But naturally, you can develop. The details are good, you know, because there are more and more finer and finer points of training, which is why there are so many details. So all the icing in Vajrayana is just not just for fun. It's not just to entertain, you know, those of us who have a Baroque sense of, you know, of aesthetic. It's not just to entertain those of us who are into, you know, a Baroque sense of aesthetic as opposed to a Zen sense of aesthetic. Not just that, but all the fine details in Vajrayana, they are, you know, pointing at more and more kind of detailed things that we need to place our attention on. But like working with a piece of wood, you know, first you use a planer, right, to smooth it. Something pretty, you know, kind of rough. You smooth it with a planer. Then you use a coarser sandpaper, right? Then you use a finer sandpaper and finer sandpaper, then until the so fine the sandpaper, almost like silk, you know, but still sandpaper. Then your furniture, your piece of wood, will be so beautiful, you know, all the wood grain comes out. So if you don't know this, you know, and at the very beginning you want to use the fine sandpaper because you think, oh, the final result that produces this beautiful wood is this finer sandpaper, very detailed, right? Fine. And you start off by working on your wood like that, you will give up very quickly because you're like, this is not going anywhere. So at the beginning, more general, more kind of direct, simple. That's like using a planer. Then later, sandpaper. Then finer and finer sandpaper. Yeah, so don't worry. Yeah. So you'll have a good day, have a good evening if you're on the other side of the world. So then on Saturday will be the third session. Again, if you have friends and family that you think could benefit from this, point them in this direction so that we can all share in this. And you have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Many thanks. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Gracias.
Terima kasih.